My name is Matanda Abubaker. I'm the National Youth Coordinator, Alliance for National Transformation, ANT, and a representative to the National Youth Council representing the youth of Bududa District. I'm glad to be here to speak about the upcoming International Youth Day celebrations, whose theme centers around food systems and how youth innovations can be used to transform youth systems. Uganda is said to be the second youngest country on earth. That means this is a country for young people. And UBOS has also shown us that more than 78% of the Ugandan population are young people below the age of 35. That means every resource, every platform, every opportunity has to be used to see on how we can tap into this youth dividend before it becomes a curse. Because youth, when not engaged in productivity, tend to go into criminality and other things that lead to instability. So the International Youth Day reflecting on food systems is a great opportunity because Uganda, again, is largely a peasant society where most people who are in farming are doing subsistence farming that does not bring in any income. And we know young people to be the engines of innovation, the engines of being dynamic and having energy and being very ambitious. So it's worthwhile for us to discuss how we can position the country and the youth in a position where this innovativeness and the energy that young people have is pushed to transform our food systems. Our food systems are still largely very traditional, and so we get very low yields and end up being unemployed, yet we have very good climate, we have very good soils, the population is growing, and we are potentially a food basket for the whole region and the whole continent. So as the National Youth Council and as the Alliance for National Transformation, I think that we need to look out for the young people that have come up with innovations in farming and put a spotlight on them such that the rest of us can learn from it. But we also need to assess our policies as a country to see whether they are favorable to support a young person who is coming up with an innovation. I know that students, say at Makerere University for example, come up with a lot of innovations, but we have not invested enough as a country in creating opportunities that these young people can tap into. There is, for example, no fund that a young innovator can take advantage of, and those that seem to come up mostly funded by developing partners, the information is very scanty and young people don't know how to reach those opportunities. So there is need to put them out there for people to get to know them. Secondly, there is need to review our laws and policies and enforce those that exist. A law, for example, on intellectual property. In this country we know that when you come up with an innovation, it is very easy for that innovation to be stolen, and our law enforcers have not been sensitized enough to protect intellectual property. I know young people that have written books and literature, and these have been pirated, and when they go to report to police, the police does not seem to understand the offenses around intellectual property. You also know that innovation runs so much on internet. Our rates of internet penetration are very low, and unfortunately just last month government brought up a tax of 12%. A very unfortunate development. We would ask the lawmakers and the policy makers to review that decision. We told them that the tax on mobile money and the tax on social media, those taxes were wrong. They insisted and pushed them. We all know where they have ended. The OTT tax has had to be dropped, and the mobile money tax had to be revised. And we looked very clumsy, as if we don't have planners. So even for this tax on the usage of internet, not at this time at least, at a time when we need young people to be innovative, at a time when we are driving sectors like education to go online, you cannot introduce a tax. You would rather invest all the resources you have to ensure more people are able to access internet and that it is as cheap as possible. We know that internet in Uganda is one of the most expensive in the region. We need to find out why and what can we do to bring the cost of internet down. Finally, I would like to speak to a young person out there. Whereas this tax has been put up, it is also true that we are the most tech-savvy generation in this country's history. I can tell you that there is a lot of information on internet. There is a lot of information on tools like YouTube, on tools like Google Scholar. If you have decided to go into any sector, make use of these tools. A few years ago, I decided to go into rabbit farming with a few friends. But I can tell you just from the internet, we ended up becoming experts on rabbit farming. And we understand rabbit farming in and out without ever having stepped into any school. When you go on YouTube, even if you want to learn today on how to bake bread, even if you want to learn today on, I don't know what, how to bind a book or even to make liquid soap or think about anything and the information is there. So rather than just be on WhatsApp, gossiping, be on Facebook, you can joke, you can share memes, but it is important that you also use the internet to find out what's happening elsewhere. Because when we talk about innovativeness, it does not necessarily mean that you have to come up with something new. You may find that we are grappling with a challenge here, but when the young people, say in South Korea or in another country like Botswana, have actually come up with an innovation that solves that problem, it helps for you to go and look out on the internet. This thing I'm doing, I may be making juice or growing something. How is it done elsewhere? When you collect all that information, it is very easy for you to use that information to improve whatever you're doing and do it better. I wish you happy International Youth Day celebrations. Let's keep the conversation going. Let's tweet. Let's use this platform. Let's ask questions. Let's share with colleagues on our statuses. Let's post on all social media platforms and see that this information reaches to the people who need it. Government, lift the ban on Facebook as soon as possible. You're looking bad. You're damaging the economy more than you can imagine. Thank you.